We're live. This is Rich Lieberman, the Bay Area media polls for a Monday, July 14th, 2025. Look, I've been reporting for the past several months, almost a year now, that Dion Lim was very close to leaving KGO TV, ABC 7, Channel 7, and it looks as if that time has come. I also reported at the beginning of the year that her contract was up on April 7th, which it was. They worked out a deal. Her agent worked out a deal, and I said, I think she was trying to leverage ABC 7 into some kind of a deal where she got more money, but that she also had a route to a more prime time presence. That obviously did not work out. I think the contract renewal on April 7th, which she really didn't renew her contract, she just stayed on, was to buy some time so she could figure out where she was headed. Now, she's not going to Channel 5 picks. She auditioned there up the street from Channel 7 to possibly become a part of the new CBS News 24/7 stream. That's the all news stream that is headquartered at the Battery and Broadway studios of KPIX. She did very well, but she didn't ace the interview. She got no offer, no formal offer from CBS nor KPIX, and she's not going to Channel 5, the local CBS O&O. I contacted a source, very prominent source there. So here's the deal, and I'm going to get into why Dion Lim left KGO television. But the main talk now in the industry is where she's headed. Now, obviously, she's not going to be back at Channel 7. She's not going to KPIX. She's not going to NBC Bay Area. I'm not going to put my life on it. I don't think she's going to Cron anytime soon, which would only mean if she's going to work in the Bay Area, at least in news, you have KTVU Channel 2, of course, the Fox O&O. I don't think she's going there. I could be wrong. Nothing is set. I contacted various people at KTVU. They have no idea. Okay. Which leads to two observations. And then I'm going to get to the reasons why Dion Lim is leaving Channel 7. It's not your ordinary contract situation. It's beyond that. Deals with a lot of people and targets. And I'll get to that in a second. I think, folks, now remember, she's from Florida. She's got a child that she just had, married to a guy younger than she is. I think she's in her early 40s. She could be either going to another market, which to me has Florida written all over it, maybe even LA. She's from Florida, so it wouldn't be exactly a detour, an inconvenient place to go. Although, as I've stated many a time, she really loves the Bay Area. And she has a very strong alliance here, particularly with the Asian Journalists Association. That, in and of itself, had a lot to do with her leaving Channel 7, which I'm going to get to in a second. I keep teasing that, but I am going to get to it. Where is she headed? As I said, she came from Florida. She has presence in both New York and LA and even Chicago. And nobody's talking. Even her most coveted friends and close associates are not saying a word. They don't know. Okay. At this point, she may not even know. But let me cut to the chase and tell you why, more than likely, Dion Lim, the several reasons she's splitting from the Mouse House, the Disney folks at Channel 7. For one, when she came here, she was told that she'd have a prime time presence eventually. But since Dan Ashley is still at the helm and Ashley hasn't left, even though he doesn't have a formal contract, Dion Lim is not going to replace Amadeus. And as we know, and I'm about to tell you, the chief protagonist, her personal rival, although you wouldn't know it, but you're going to know it from me, Ming Z, otherwise known as Kristen Z, who has a lot of power at Channel 7. She runs the show there pretty much. There's a few people that are a little bit more powerful than Christian Z, who, by the way, likes to be referred to by her closest friends as her Chinese name, Ming Z. It's not an insult, it's merely a reflection of what she wants. But she is a power player, she being Ming Z, at Channel 7. She runs her own tightrope there. And anybody that she perceives as being a threat to her situation, it's a very prominent role. She's not a lead anchor, but she's close to it. And she's close to running the puppets over there, is Christian Z. And from the moment Dion Lim got to Channel 7, Z was not happy. She thought that Dion Lim, was a threat. And that's the real reason why she's leaving. Not because Z was forefront in getting her out of there. There's a couple of things there. Dion Lim understood that Ming did not have the highest regard for her. They had an internal squabble or two. And believe me, folks, you know the old adage, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Well, there are a lot of people that have built up walls over at Channel 7. Dion Lim had the command and respect of several people there not associated with Christian Z. Even at that, Z held a little power play, and it was becoming obvious that she would win out. Now, let's keep this simple and straight, okay? Dion Lim was tired of working the weekend. She even thought physically and emotionally, Channel 7 was not the place to be at 900 front on the weekend. In fact, she regarded it as a vast wasteland. Not the greatest of neighborhoods of late, as I discussed recently when they had that big brouhaha, that crazy guy who broke into the station, knocked down the plate glass door on the entrance into the studios at Channel 7, beat up a guard. The situation was very tense. The guard was almost killed. I bring that up only because this happened on the Sunday morning before Memorial Day, on the weekend, when it could be a rather irksome, troublesome neighborhood. That nice area right below Channel 5, adjacent to the waterfront at 900 front. That only made Dion Lim's a little bit more, shall we say, guarded about working on the weekend. Now, she, as I just indicated, to me, she bought a little time by renewing her contract at April 7th, but it was an open ended deal, folks. And she was always looking around. She auditioned, I just said, at Channel 5 for the CBS gig. They didn't make her an offer, which means that she was already looking around. The money was not going to be sweetened by frugal Disney because they are not in the business, well, nobody is, of paying people anymore. The guy who has a lot of power over there at Channel 7, guy by the name of Julian Glover, well, he also, along with Z, were not big fans of Christian, redact that, are not big fans of Dion Lim. Dion Lim was very, very public about posting things on social media, namely Twitter, Instagram, of Asian people, particularly older women in Chinatown, in Oakland, San Francisco, San Jose, of being knocked down, of being at the forefront of criminal behavior. Julian Glover, who happens to be black from Cleveland, they brought him in a couple of years ago. He's got a lot of power at Channel 7. He's also the house snitch. Disney likes to keep people like that on board. Dion Lim wasn't terribly crazy about that. And Julian Glover is not a fan of Dion Lim because he perceived her as being hostile toward blacks, hostile and more akin to getting the public the information about Asians being knocked down and privy to crime in the Bay Area. They built up these alliances, and the alliances had their people that they liked and people that they didn't care about. So one of the reasons, in addition to the fact that she had no role and she was not going to have a primetime role at Channel 7, was the fact that she had multiple enemies and had alliances that she built up were not as powerful as the alliances built by, again, unofficially, but this is the deal, folks, trust me, built by Julian Glover, who's got a very prominent role both internally and externally, and of course, Christian Z, who, again, I have to emphasize this, immediately perceived Dion Lim as a threat to her wherewithal at Circle7 KGO television. That, folks, has as much to do with her wanting to get out, and she has made the decision to leave Channel 7. Now, you might say, well, it's not that big of a deal. She's not that big. You're right. She isn't. But in this day of marginalized media and very few stars, and I would not put Dion Lim in the category of a star. Nevertheless, she's got a prominent role. She's young. Obviously, she's a woman. And yes, she's Asian, a very key and vital demographic considering this is the Bay Area and San Francisco. In fact, it was none other than KGO Television, part of Disney, that took the Chinese New Year's parade in San Francisco, the rights to that event away from Fox KTVU, got it to Channel 7, and oh, by the way, Dion Lim was one of the hosts on the parade. Don't think that that is not recognized by Disney. That being said, she didn't get the money that she wanted. She didn't get the role of being prime time Monday through Friday gig at Channel 7. So, and they promised her that they would put her at the top of the list. That didn't obviously take place. That's one of the reasons why she's splitting. She sees the handwriting on the wall. Ashley ain't going anywhere anytime soon. Obviously, Christian Z has a lot of power there, and people that work at Channel 7 know that. Amadeus, Ashley's co-anchor in the evening primetime news and 11 o'clock, well, she's not going anywhere either as long as probably Ashley is there. So Dion Lim is now headed, big question mark. I don't know. I already told you I don't think it's any of the stations locally beyond possibly KTVU, although they're not saying anything. There's nothing out there. My contacts tell me they don't know. And they also don't know anything. And I indicated to you right now, my best guess is she's leaving the market and going somewhere, who knows. There's also the possibility, and this is very, very slight, but I don't know yet, and I am going to put out feelers and investigate. Could she take a job, leave the industry, and become that all too convenient role that a lot of former TV people and radio are exploring these days and actually taking the job? And that is becoming a PR person at any number of private companies, personal companies. We see what's happened at the Golden Gate Bridge. Priya David, who formerly was a news reporter for KTVU, is now the PR person at the Golden Gate Bridge. Robert Lyles, AC Transit, PR spokesperson, used to work at Channel 5. The guy that used to be at Channel 2, John Sasaki, is now the PR person for the Oakland Unified School District. It's Anna Duckworth, used to be at KCBS, works at BART as one of their PR people. The working conditions are a lot less stressful. The money's decent. The benefits are superior, and obviously the pressure is not as intense doing those jobs as it is in television news, which doesn't pay as much as it used to. The stress level is a lot higher, and there's just no fluidity. A lot of people in the media, particularly TV, radio people, have been exploring and taking these jobs as PR flags. Could Dion Lim be the next to do that? I doubt it. She's still young enough, I believe, to where she wants to stay in the business. As a prominent anchor, I think she could be very effective. I was very critical of her when she first came here. I thought she had an odd voice. I thought her delivery was very wooden, very stodgy, very mechanical, but she got more relaxed. She became more featured, a lot more fluid, and developed into one of the more prominent people at KGO television. I think she felt, with good justification, that her betterment would fast track a more prominent role. For her, that would be somewhere Monday through Friday, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, wherever. 11 o'clock news didn't happen. So, having said all that, I can say this officially: she'll be leaving Channel 7. She's already done all the proper procedures, and now the question is, where is she headed? And we will be on the lookout for that end of the story. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Don't leave me. This is the only place you're going to read about and hear about Bay Area and national media. I'm Rich Lieberman. See you later, alligator.